again. So let's see
GMO
what happens.
intensive systems, and
Maybe
they're
it's working
getting
better.
better yields with the organic systems than the GMO corn is getting. And in
Sorry about
fact,
that.
what they're finding out is that GMO crops are very susceptible to drought conditions because they're basically running all the organic matter. Intensive cropping
We're about ready to retire this
destroys the
smartphone.
organic matter in the soils, and it's the organic matter that retains water. So what they're actually discovering is that in drought years, organic systems actually yield higher
And then
than the
failing that, I could bring a
GMO
mic with me.
systems. So I think it's one of those things that we need to keep talking about, and I encourage you all to go read the science. And if you're grounded in the science, we have a really powerful message to tell.
I think also, aside from repetition, I think repetition, responding to the arguments, but also expanding on the dialogue, whether it is through your dialogues locally or through your dialogues with your congressman. I think, going back to the yield point, the science is bogus. There's on both sides saying there's higher yield, there isn't. But expanding the conversation to, but what else is on the table? These genetically crops are definitely sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, and we have a growing epidemic of resistant weeds that are resulting in increased herbicide spray being sprayed on these crops because the weeds have become resistant to Roundup. So I think that the dialogue and the education allows us to not to just respond to the concerns, but also expand the conversation and find support in different ways by expanding the dialogue a little bit.
Thank you, all of you. We have another question from Theo Ferguson. You have to step up, Theo. I'm afraid the cord doesn't reach.
Yeah, I want to thank you all so much to, kind of peeling back the onion of the corporate practices. One of the things since Monica and team have pulled together the concept of the greater good food fair, in other words, linking all of the different dynamics that impact in this nexus of the fact that we as a nation spend less on our food than anyone else and that we're sicker than anyone else, is our money. So my question to you, since consumers drive 70% of every single financial transaction in the United States every day, is how are you going to fetch up the local farmers, make sure that there's alternate food, make sure that there's hardly an alternate good food, and shop in Mark's store and do all of those kinds of things. What are the strategies in your domain that you're basically saying every single purchase and every single investment needs to be very, very thoughtfully considered?
Well, to me, part of what that brings up is that, we definitely need our organizations. And, right here we've got some really very important organizations that have been fighting for a long time for food democracy and food rights. I think that part of the reason that it's so important for us to get organized is that, even though I'm a total believer in, walking our talk, it's critical that we, put our money where our mouth is and, shop organic. I even extend that to clothes. I try and wear organic clothes when I can. But it's critical that we get organized politically, because some of these solutions, I don't think, they can't just be niche. It needs to be all of us. And when you start to understand how these huge corporations have lobbied, and we are funding corporate ag industry through our tax dollars every day that are basically killing our kids, and yet farmers are struggling. The small guys that are trying to do it right are struggling, and it's because we're basically doing this corporate welfare on these huge ag systems, and it's only because they have a louder voice in Washington D.C. So it is really important that we organize, because organic food should be something that everybody can eat, no matter what the economic level that they're at. And the fact that they've actually, they've actually tried to paint it as though it's something that's an elitist conversation. And that's just wrong. They'll say anything to divide us.
Yeah, I think definitely, it's a difficult issue because the consumer choice in the end is an individual choice. And there's so many factors, unfortunately, that the bigger system has created that makes it hard. The economic realities being one, for example, that's just up to the individual. And so I do think that it comes back to definitely organization and education to sort of prompt the dialogue and to prompt the individuals to make that choice, and then having the science and information readily available, because I think that's another issue that we face, in the marketplace. I have a lot of friends that it confuses them to go to the store. There's so many information and so many terms being thrown around. And so I think that the organized movement can simplify the information. The organized movement can make it as accessible as possible to make that individual choice when the individual is ready to make that switch easy, and that's sort of the power of the organization.
So just adding to what they said, I think from a policy position, because again, it's more than just what we can do in a shopping, it's really about changing what is currently a rigged market. I mean, right now what we have is the opposite of a free market. We have taxpayers subsidizing genetically modified crops, subsidizing factory farms, while at the same time organic farmers and companies are not subsidized nearly at all, nor are good sustainable environmental practices. And so this unnaturally rigs the market in terms of costs of food. So we've incentivized food that's really bad for your body, and we've de-incentivized food that is really good for you, like fresh produce, fresh vegetables, organic fruit. So part of it is, fighting these battles. Unfortunately, we have to, on the inside, is maintaining those organic standards, trying to fight for components of every farm bill we work on. There's always like dozens of amendments and initiatives that could really start to bring the market back into line to what's natural. And obviously, for a free market to work, you need transparency. That means people need to know what's in their food so they can make those choices. So I think there's all kinds of things that you can do on your own, but there's really stuff that on a mass public policy level that needs to be changed to really make organic foods more available, and certainly more available in areas that don't have access to them right now. And also just to keep expanding the market of organics, because then that affects everything else. That affects the environment, that affects public health, and that affects our economy. So the money's not always going to the top and going to these few corporations. It starts to spread to local grassroots economies and to communities. And so
I'll just concur with all these people and say, yes, we have to stop subsidizing big ag. But on a local level, what we can do is put pressure on our school board, go into the city council and find out how they're procuring and if they can support local and organic. And you put pressure on them here locally to do that. That will get your local economies to start supporting the producers, farmers, businesses that are doing sustainability and best practices and getting good food into our community.
Yeah, I don't have much to add, except I think I subscribe to the philosophy that for the issues we're facing right now with our food movement, I don't think we can shop our way out of it. I think we have to engage politically. I said corporate consolidation earlier, and so that's really this huge issue that we're facing kind of across the board of farms consolidating and grocery stores consolidating and processors and manufacturers and seeds. And so I'll just not say much more except that our executive director recently wrote a book called Foodopoly, and it really goes into depth on these issues of corporate consolidation. And so I would just recommend, if folks are interested in that kind of bigger, sometimes wonkier issue, exploring it, check out that book.
Thank you all for your words and your insights. We really appreciate it. We're ready to move on to the next thing, if you don't mind. Sorry to give you a little space here.
How are we doing on the sound,
We'll take
folks?
care of that.
I'm
We
trying the
had
best
just
I
about
can.
3 minutes. Switch up.
Adjustment.
I'm going to stay at Rainbow Grocery, one of our sponsors, to say a few words about the co-op and what that
Time to retire
means
this.
to influence our local system. They're strong believers in everything you've heard up here. Thank you all for coming. Don't go away. We've just got about 3 minutes and we'll have some more music. We've got Justin who's going to delight us, so
More music.
stay close.
Yes, and now a word from our sponsors. Hi, everybody. My name is Matt, and I'm from the Rainbow Grocery Cooperative, located at 1745 Folsom. We've been in the Mission District since 1965. We have some fans in the crowd. Well, if you don't know about us, our goals include providing affordable vegetarian food products which have minimal negative impact ecologically and socially, buying products local whenever possible, providing our workers with a livable wage, creating a non-hierarchical workspace based upon respect, mutuality, and cooperation, supporting other collectives and worker-owned businesses, providing our customers with the best possible service, encouraging bicycling, mass transit, and alternative transportation, creating a diverse, non-discriminatory, multilingual environment. And tomorrow, from noon to 4, is our Customer Appreciation Day Carnival Extravaganza, where there will be prizes, games, music, gift bags, and local vendors plying their wares. So come on by. It's free. Your receipt from the Rainbow gets you.
I will have some
tickets to the
interviews lined
raffle.
up a little bit later, folks.
And enjoy the rest of
They're
your
watching.
afternoon. Thank you.
I'm gonna take a few minutes. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the camera on. Kind of warm out today, folks. Bear with me. We're gonna be here until the batteries run out. This event is scheduled to go on until about 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So stick around. Panel discussion about GMOs. You know, personally, I don't think that a lot of this stuff doesn't go far enough. I actually believe that monsanto should be put out of business permanently, and that I'm not going to be happy until GMOs are banned in the United States. They're really bad, and the one way you can check to see if GMOs are in the food you're eating, you don't need a label. Check the label, rather. You don't need a special label. All you have to do is stay away from things that have corn syrup solids, and that's one way to stay away from GMO food. So if you see something that says corn syrup solids on the ingredient, which is the way they sweeten things nowadays, actually drove down the price of sugar. About $1, I guess, in the last pound. Or maybe not quite that, just a quarter pound. It was noticeable. So, we got a nice little crowd here. I'd say there's about maybe 100 people, maybe 150. We're out here at the Greater Good Food Fair, promoting, that is, you won't be frantic, you eat organic. Thanks for watching. You can get this embedded on activiststream.com. We're at the Greater Good Food Fair website.com. There's a link. And then the usual places on Ustream. I will sign out if I'm not coming back or whatnot. The last comment I had said the sound wasn't working well, but I have really no way of telling. So we're gonna have some interviews here in a little bit. And we have the band, the Archeta band, Justin Archeta band. ready to come on. Beautiful day out here in Civic Center, San Francisco. A little too warm actually if you're in the sun. There's not a cloud in the sky, so the sun can be quite intense here.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica, for inviting us out here. My name is Justin, and we're going to be doing some music for you guys, conscious reggae and other styles. And I'm a fan of this entire movement and everybody that has made it out here. I'm a fan of getting out here to the Civic Center and this plaza for this cause. This is called Truth Existence, and I hope that this movement speaks to you guys back in these lyrics here. It's called Truth Existence. I had enough of politician war. What we need right now is love. I've had enough of this military score.
Got kind of used to that Samsung
What we need
Galaxy.
right now is love.
That was the pricing phones last night.
I want to take you into the distance where the free life can be found. Discrimination.
Despite the problems with the Zoom, it is a nice camera.
Empty flourish like the fruits, the place and like the sound. People join hands, making the world revolve around. The songs are lost in our own reality. Generation life around us, but we keep on seeing. What's wrong? Clothes are empty. Your house is unmade of, and the law should be amended. Because freedom lies within the heart's system. And how we are were created. Close to your heart. Close to your heart. Closest to your heart. It's love that you are.
Guest knows hasn't arrived yet. Looking for her. Should have called her up yesterday. No. Anyway,
Yes, Hello Power PPT event.
have that to look forward to as well.
Closest to the heart is love that you are. Close to your heart, possess to your heart with this love that you are part of existence in the world of creation. Elevate your head to see beyond 7 generations. Make change in your lives so that God show you emancipated.